Last week, as you recall, we got Splinter Cell agent Sam Fisher through that god-awful CIA level and we're ready to move on to something that's actually fun. At the CIA, Sam discovered that Georgian dictator Kombain Nikolaadze had tapped into a computer belonging to a low-level bean counter named Mitchell Doherty. Sam kidnapped Doherty and smuggled him out of one of the most heavily guarded complexes on American soil, while Anna Grimsdottir discovered that signals from Doherty's computer were being routed through a building near CIA headquarters. This building is owned by a company called Kalina, so Sam is heading there now. We also learned that Sam's sticky shocker ammunition works very well on obnoxious British snobs. This voice is very hard to maintain. Oh, hi. I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you. So, where were we? At Kalina, you discover that the Georgians are systematically destroying everything, including the people who work there. Dead computer geeks are all over the place. The soldiers are also setting wall mines. Basically, these are proximity mines that'll go off when they detect motion. You can defuse them, and as you go along, you can find some nice opportunities to use them. Your task is fairly straightforward. A programmer who calls himself Ivan placed a 911 call that Grim intercepted, and you need to get him out with something called an encryption key. They never really explain what that is, but it's a way that Grim can access more of Nikolaadze's information over her omnipotent computer. So go get it. Of course, it's not that simple, because the Georgians have planted bombs, thrown breakers closing off access to this guy, and otherwise made your mission complicated. Just before you get to Ivan, Lambert tells you that your job is only to get the encryption key from Ivan. The FBI will be along later to get him out of there. Ivan isn't crazy about that arrangement, but he doesn't have much bargaining room. After you get the encryption key and leave Ivan in the bathroom where he's been hiding, Lambert tells you the roof is crawling with Russians, so you're gonna have to clean house a bit before the Osprey can land and extract you. So now you can say, screw stealth. You have some frag grenades in your arsenal, plus plenty of ammo for your pistol and your rifle, so use it. It's major shoot-'em-up time. Sadly, it's also tragedy time. On the plane, he dies in Sam's arms. We didn't know him that well, but we mourn his loss nevertheless. Grim gets some information from the encryption key Sam recovered that suggests Nikolaadze is somewhere on the Kola Peninsula in Russia, but you can't go after him yet. While you were at Kalina, Nikolaadze launched a biological attack through a water treatment plant in Pickett Gap, Tennessee. Fortunately, some people caught it before people really got hurt. Based on information Grim has gleaned from all these sources, your next stop, believe it or not, is the Chinese embassy in Myanmar. You were on the other side of the world in Tbilisi, where you infiltrated a private residence, a police station, and the defense ministry. Then you came back to Virginia to the CIA headquarters, then across the street to Kalina. Now you're going halfway across the world again to break into a Chinese embassy.
And afterwards I get a cookie.
In Myanmar, you meet your new leg person, Ruth Cohen. Your first task is to meet a local contact and get some information that should get you into the embassy grounds. Naturally, both the local police and Chinese military are patrolling every street and alley, so you have to find some creative ways to get past them. To help you with this endeavor, you have exactly 3 ring airfoil rounds, 3 sticky shockers, 5 diversion cameras, 1 smoke grenade, and 10, yes, 10 sticky cameras. What those are supposed to be good for in this case, I don't know. If you're close enough to an enemy and manage to hit him just right, you can knock him out with one, but 98% of the time that doesn't work because the sight is so screwy. But once again, you're under strict no-kill orders. Part of your path takes you through the sewers where there are 3 guards. But you can still shoot lights out and you have night vision, so you have the advantage, right? They have lights on their helmets, naturally. So you fumble your way past them, come up out of the sewers, make your way to the rooftops, and meet your contact. From the sewers to the rooftops of Virginia to the Far East, this game is nothing if not diverse. You have information that a Chinese general is helping Nickelods. Your job is to find out who and use your laser mic to record a conversation he has with Nickelods. You discover that the general's name is Kong Ferong, or Donkey Kong to his friends. Okay, I made that last part up. He's a big shot in the Chinese army, and it's safe to assume his government doesn't know he's in bed with a terrorist dictator.
Give me 3 more days. The devices can be armed in one and placed the next. Of course the Ark. But you know the details. We need to strike together, or we may as well not strike at all. Nicholas, listen to me. Because you will reveal us. That's ridiculous. How could they listen? That's paranoia, but fine. No, fine. We will have a safe conversation. I will call you back from my car. Not the only ones I'm worried about eavesdropping. They are just the most capable. Of course. How many times will the signal be rerouted? You would also believe your Kola Peninsula base untraceable. I understand the psychology of war. Yes. I've attended many executions, but never Americans. So hold on a second. Driver, how far away is Buksobo Meet?
10 minutes, maybe more. But we'll have to stand a police check along the way.
No, it's not worth the trouble. I will just watch the broadcast like everyone else. Yes, too true. You are a wicked man, Mr. Nicholas. I hope your performance goes well.
Lambert goes ballistic. Turns out that somewhere along the way, Nickelods captured some American soldiers. They're being kept at a slaughterhouse near the Chinese embassy, and he's going to execute them during a live web broadcast in a few hours. You have to make your way out of the embassy grounds and meet up with Cohen, then race to the slaughterhouse and rescue these guys. Oh, excuse me. If we're going to call it what the game calls it now, you have to get to the abattoir. My, aren't we upscale? Your goal in the abattoir is twofold. First, shut down the broadcast by disabling the antenna on the roof. Second, rescue the American hostages. In this level, we're introduced to a couple more new weapons, landmines and automated turret guns. Unfortunately, neither one is ours. Conveniently, you can see the landmines blinking with your thermal vision. Even more conveniently, a guy comes over the radio just as you get there, explaining to his men that they shouldn't venture out into this area without thermal goggles so they can see the mines. Hey, that's what I call the game playing fair. Throw an obstacle at me, but give me the means and the knowledge to get past it. The turrets are another matter. They're computer controlled and wicked pieces of hardware. There aren't any data sticks or radio messages telling you how to deal with them, but a couple of things should be fairly obvious. First, you're carrying at least one flare. That tells you something out there is going to be heat sensitive and you can use the flares to distract it. Guess what that something is? Second, there's usually a way around to the back of the turret where you can access the computer. Here you have a couple of options. Either shut it down completely, or, if you have a way past it, turn off its IFF. IFF stands for Intelligent Friendly Fire. And basically, it means the bad guys have some kind of identifier on them that tells the turret not to shoot them. If you turn that off, it'll shoot anything that comes into its range, including them. There aren't too many chances to use this, but it's knowledge you can file away for later on. A couple of times all you can do is sprint past it and hope you're clear before it starts shooting. There's a split-second delay between when it senses you and when it starts firing, so it really is possible to get away with this. Again, playing fair. Shutting down the antenna is a matter of flipping a switch.
What the hell just happened? The broadcast antenna's down. We've got no outgoing signal.
We're under attack. The Americans are here. They've taken out the broadcast antenna.
Get Nicholas out of here. I want his helicopter airborne now. I want a squad of technicians with an armed escort on the roof and repairing that antenna. I want the Americans found and killed.
Yes, sir.
Of course it's the Americans. It couldn't be a bird taking a crap on an exposed wire or anything else natural. It has to be an American attack. And they never get the antenna working again. Apparently, a switch is too much for Georgian technicians. I'm not asking. You make your way inside after you take out some guards, then you get to do this. Talk about kicking a guy when he's at his most vulnerable. You have to make your way through a big freezer or cooler area that's full of steam, and this is where your thermal vision really comes in handy. Without it, you have no idea where the bad guys are, but with it they stand out like neon signs. One of the more interesting things about this place is, when you kill an enemy, if you want to hide his body, you'd better hurry, because it's really cold in here and his body cools down so quickly that it becomes hard to see with your thermal goggles. This is the kind of attention to detail that's made Tom Clancy such a leader in his field and makes this an excellent game. From the freezer, you make your way to the stalls where the cattle are kept in preparation for slaughter. Most of the cows you see are either already dead or look seriously diseased. Yuck! Once you take care of the bad guys there, you get to the actual basement where the prisoners are being held. Wait a minute. Not only have you found the American soldiers who are whining like kittens, but you find a room full of Chinese diplomats, including the ambassador to Myanmar. Whoa! He tells you that Farong is part of a splinter faction of the Chinese army and does not represent the People's Republic. There's evidence to prove all this on the computer in his office, the one Farong has taken over. So Sam needs to get to that office and get the evidence off the computer. But first he has a big fight on his hands. The Georgians have discovered that someone is in the process of rescuing the Americans and a bunch of troops come down there. This battle will probably take several tries because these guys are sneaky little turds. They'll do just about anything to keep the Americans from escaping, including throwing grenades or whatever else they need to do. If they kill the soldiers, mission over. It takes some major planning, strategy, and luck to defeat them, but it can be done. I've done it 4 times on both difficulty settings. Grinko gets pissed and comes down there himself, whereupon Lambert tells you to kill him. The rest of these guys are mercenaries, so if Grinko's out of the picture, they'll quit because they know they're not going to get paid. One amusing thing in this game is that pretty much anybody with the rank of colonel wears a bright red beret. It's like when they get promoted, they're told, "Here, wear this bright red hat, it makes you a better target." And they're dumb enough to do it. It does make Sam's job of taking them out easier though, so I shouldn't complain. Actually, I'm not complaining, I'm laughing. But really, it's just another example of fair play. You have a way of clearly identifying the primary target. The developers get my commendation for doing that. It makes the game more fun. By the time Grinko gets down to the basement, he's not wearing his, but his nice shiny bald head makes up for it. And once Grinko is down, you've beaten the level. Now it's back to the embassy, and this time you are definitely not under no-kill orders. So, as you make your way back to the embassy, Lambert tells you that Farong has the makings of a nuclear bomb and he's getting ready to move it on a convoy of trucks. Your next job is to keep those trucks from leaving. Getting to them is a convoluted process, of course, and you have to use some tricks that you haven't really used before. One is using your thermal goggles to read the heat signatures on a keypad in order to get the code that somebody just punched in. To say this doesn't work would be an understatement. To say that what you're looking for is never explained would be denoting the obvious. Here's what it looks like. Take a second and see if you can figure it out.
Use the thermal goggles, Fisher. They should allow you to see the heat signatures on the keypad.
The code to this door is 1436, and I got that from GameFAQs. I recommend using the same technique for all the doors in this level. The other trick is the silent drop. You climb across a pipe until you're right behind a colonel whose retina you need to open yet another door. But if you just drop down behind him, he'll hear you and shoot you, and you can't use his retina when you're dead. So, as you let go of the pipe using the Y button, you're supposed to be able to hit the B button, which is your crouch button, and land silently. Unfortunately, you have just about a quarter of a second to do this, and if you don't hit it just right, it won't work. So expect that to take several tries. It can be done, but it's a royal hassle. My biggest problem in this game is that I get impatient. Especially if I'm having trouble getting past a certain spot, I get in a hurry and try to do things too fast and end up screwing myself. Patience is the key, and it's a damn elusive one at times. When you finally get to the trucks, a cutscene shows a guy filling one of them with gas. This is your target, obviously. A single shot will not only take out all the trucks, but most of the soldiers around them.
I say...
You do indeed do a lot of that.
You are aware, are you not, that the myth of making a petrol tank explode by shooting it has been debunked several times?
Yes,
In the first place, the convergence of metals may or may not produce a spark, but even if it does, the fuel must be in a vaporous form in order to...
Hopefully he'll stay down this time. Where was I? Oh yes. After you destroy the trucks, you have to find your way to Farong's office and gather evidence of his activities from his computer. This takes you past several more doors where you're supposed to do the thermal goggle trick to get the code. Use GameFAQs. You're supposed to keep Farong alive so he can confirm what you find on the computer. But by the time you catch him, he's already gotten good and drunk and tried to shoot himself. Getting drunk first wasn't a good idea because when he tried to shoot himself, he sort of missed. Check it out.
I'm going to shoot myself. Not in the face. You are American. You are the cause of all my sorrows, yes? Perhaps you will do me the favor of killing me.
I'm going to unlock the data in your computer, and you're going to help me.
Go to hell! You can't force a dead man into anything.
You're not dead yet. The rest of your life is all you've got, and how painful that is depends on your cooperation.
My life was suffering long before you got here. Do your worst.
Will do.
Fantastic work.
Now that you have the info you need, it's time to get the hell out of there and catch up with Nicolads. You're back in Tbilisi, infiltrating the presidential palace. The first part is more than a little irritating. Basically, Sam has to become a human fly to get into the place. Walking on walls, climbing cliffs, leaping impossible gaps, and when he finally comes up to where he needs to be, there's a nice big Doberman practically staring him in the face. The funny thing about these dogs is, if you're quiet enough when you shoot them, their handlers won't notice. Check out this guy. I took down his dog and he just goes on about his patrol as if he had a dead dog all the time. And this other dog isn't noticing anything odd in his pal's scent. When I take him out, his handler ignores it too. Isn't it great to know these guard dogs are in such capable hands? Somebody call the GSPCA. That would be the Georgian Society for the... Oh, you get it. From here until you get inside, it's basic stuff for the game. All the sort of thing you've done before. Inside, it's a different matter. We have lasers all over the place that only show up in your night or thermal vision. And of course, there are the guards. These aren't regular palace guards, as Sam observes. They're Georgian special forces. And best I can tell, they can see in the dark and walk through walls and floors.
Move!
Notice that according to my light meter, I was in total darkness. Those guys were clear on the other side of the huge room and around a corner, but they knew exactly where I was and killed me. Now, later on in the game, you meet some of Nickelode's men who do have night vision, but these guys don't. You know, the game never actually shows Sam taking a bath, so maybe they can smell it. Makes as much sense as what we just saw. George's new president, whom the CIA basically put into the office, is letting Nickelode's come back and retrieve his Ark. You make your way to the president's office and access a computer that finally tells you what the Ark is. A suitcase nuclear bomb. It's kept in an underground vault on the premises behind a retinal scan lock. So you need Nickelode's alive and conscious. You fight your way to the vault and catch up with Nickelode's. Interrogating him gets you nowhere, so you use his retina to open the vault where the Ark is, just as the new president's troops come in demanding the Ark.
Hands in the air! Nobody move! Nobody move!
Come by Nikolai. And who is your friend? An American?
Ask him.
You will give us the Ark.
I am not God.
You will give us the Ark.
I honestly don't know what you are speaking of.
Kristavi knows it is a nuclear suitcase bomb, and he knows you have it.
Clever man. Does he know that it is already in America?
What?
The Ark is not here.
Keep talking.
The only thing in this vault is the activation key. The bomb itself is in America. If Kristavi guarantees my freedom, I'll tell you where to find the Ark.
Give us the activation key.
This spy has the key, this American. You'll have to take it from him. I can give you the location, but only on the condition of my safety and freedom.
Agreed. You two, escort Mr. Nikolaj out of the library. You. Who are you?
Don't talk, Fisher. We're arranging for a blackout in 5 seconds. Make the most of it.
Give us the key to the Ark. You can hand it to me, or I can take it from your corpse. You have 5 seconds to decide. 4 seconds. 3, 2...
Who did that?
The fight is on. Once you battle your way out of there, you have to catch Nickelode's. You now have orders to kill him. So you trail him to an office where he's preparing to skedaddle again.
Let me be as clear as possible. Snipe Nicolad from there. Do it now. Don't miss. You probably won't get a second chance at this.
I can get it done quicker if you shut up, Lambert. Sometimes this guy makes me embarrassed to bear the name Irving. You can just see the top of Nickelode's head, but it's enough. A well-placed sniper round takes care of him. From there, it's a matter of getting to your extraction point and the game is done. And we get to see a nice little family reunion between Sam and his daughter.
Did not fall. The world knows no hardship or terror that American tenacity cannot overcome. The world knows no problem that American ingenuity cannot solve. And so I extend my deepest admiration to every U.S. citizen of the world, to every civilian and every soldier standing firm against the terror and tyrannies of wicked men. History will not forget your resolve. History will not forget your resolve.
Dad, what's going on? You haven't laughed since the Reagan administration.
It's nothing. Forget about it.
We have kept the bright flame of American freedom burning throughout the world. May God clear our vision and strengthen our minds for the work to come. And may God bless America.
You're not leaving again, are you, Dad?
Hello, Radford.
The game definitely shows its age. If you're accustomed to newer games like the Fear series or BioShock, you'll find the graphics lacking, and there'll be the typical problems inherent in older games. Weak hit detection, slow response to the controls, inconsistency in the gun sights, especially with the pistol. There are a few problems that trace back to the programming, such as inconsistency in how the enemies can or can't detect SAM. One thing I found really frustrating was the whole darkness thing. Lambert tells you that when your light meter is all the way to the left, you're a ghost's shadow. Yet, fire one shot from a pitch dark spot or otherwise alert the bad guys, and it doesn't matter how far away they are. They can hit you with pinpoint accuracy. Apparently, once they've been alerted, they can see ghost shadows from 50 yards away. Then there's the sniper sight. It wobbles around like a loose tire. You can pull the left trigger to hold Sam's breath and steady it, but get this, I actually timed it. He can hold his breath for exactly 3 seconds. How many packs a day does this guy smoke? 3 seconds? Give me a break. After that, the sight wanders around again, and it's at least 3 more seconds before you can steady it again. Whoever dreamed that up needs a sticky shocker right up as where he wasn't looking. It also seems a little silly to be sitting right next to a table or desk lamp, and the only way you can put it out is to shoot it. These guys never heard of a switch? That said, for its time the game is excellent, and it still has huge replay value. It has 2 modes, normal and hard. I've done both, and I'll keep doing them. The patch that makes it playable on the 360 is free, easy to get, and works for a lot of other games too. If you get the chance, pick the game up, pop it into your 360, download the patch, and have a ball. Before I go, I do need to mention one other thing. A couple of years ago, I came across this game for the GameCube. I thought, cool, I can compare the two. Bad idea. Big chunks of the missions are absent from the GameCube version, the controls are wonky, and overall it's a really bad port. Stick with the Xbox version. You'll be a lot happier. Next time, we'll continue looking at the Splinter Cell series as we delve into the second game, Pandora Tomorrow. Until then, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you.
One day Bad Mac happened in the town. His aim was
Let's do that again.
Fat Irving down. Bad Mac said, draw and draw right now, and Irving...
Until recently, you could download them with a basic Xbox Live account.
Gunfighter Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.
Nope. You're not far enough into frame.
First son on the town said, Irving, we need your gun. Well, that train pulled in at the break of dawn. Irving's gun was there, but Irving was gone. Irving. Big fat Irving. Big help Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.